We are committed to democracy in its truest sense. If you want to find a job description for what it is to be a member of Parliament, there's only one law in Canada that describes the job description of a member of Parliament, and it's our Constitution. The Constitution, by the way, does not mention the existence of political parties. They're not an essential part of democracy. As a matter of fact, I think our democracy would be healthier if we'd never invented political parties. But as leader of one of them, Petra Kelly, who founded the German Green Party, used to describe the German Greens as the anti-party party. I knew I loved it then. But the goal of Greens is to live up to what the job description is in the Constitution, which is members of Parliament represent their constituencies. So every single Green Party member of Parliament does not report to me. As you've heard before today, every Green Party member of Parliament, Paul Manley for Nanaimo Ladysmith, will work for and report to the people of Nanaimo Ladysmith. And Fran Hunt-Janucci will work for and report to the people of Cowichan, Malahat, Langford, and Francis Litman will work for the people of Esquimalt, Saanich-Sooke. Glenn Sawa will work for the people of Courtenay, Alberta. Joanne Roberts will work for the people of Victoria. Ken will work for the people of West Vancouver, Sunshine Coast, Sea to Sky Country, just as I report to the people of Saanich Gulf Islands, who did me the enormous honor and took a risk and decided that it was worth trying to do something that everybody had said was impossible. Don't be fooled by people who say to you, and you will hear this, don't be ridiculous. The Greens only got, what, X percent, 10% in the last election, so how can they possibly take this seat? Remember the figure for Andrew Weaver? 8% in the previous election, 40% when he won. In my riding, 10%. In our vote, the Green vote actually, and I had a lot of people explaining this to me patiently as if I didn't know, that the Green vote had gone down in 2008 versus 2006. Well, of course it did, because a former Green was recruited by the Liberals. Her name was Bryony Penn, and a lot of people decided she was the best chance of getting rid of Gary Lunn, who was the minister in Harper's cabinet, and I was running against him. And people would say to me very patiently, you can't possibly win, you know, because look, the Green vote went down in 2008, and you can't possibly hope to go from 10% to actually winning. I went from 10%, the voters, not me, the voters of Saanich Gulf Islands decided to vote Green in large numbers. It was the highest voter turnout in Canada, except for PEI, 75% voter turnout in Saanich Gulf Islands, and with 75% voter turnout, 46% voted Green. Everyone was worried. Believe me, we can't be too. I know there are a lot of Saanich Gulf Island volunteers here today in the park. We're going to need everybody to work hard, because some people may think, well, she's been in now for a while, so we can just take it for granted she'll get reelected. Nothing can be taken for granted ever. But I do know that on May 2nd, 2011, we won convincingly. We had 7,000 more votes than the second place finisher, Gary Lunn. And that's because people were prepared to believe that I offered them something real, honest, and different. I never made a promise I couldn't keep. I promised the voters of Saanich Gulf Islands I would never heckle. I've never heckled. I promised the voters of Saanich Gulf Islands I would work hard for them and work for them when they had problems with government, and I have solved, and my team has solved, literally hundreds of problems that our constituents had dealing with levels of government. I promised that I would introduce a private member's bill to deal with the ongoing tragedy in this country of Lyme disease. And I introduced that bill, and it is now law. I never make a promise I can't keep. And I promise every single one of the brilliant, exemplary, excellent candidates who put their lives on hold, who've decided to do something so brave, things that they never thought they were about to do, who've decided to run to join me in Parliament, along with Greens who are going to get elected across this country. We now have Green representation in the legislatures of Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick and British Columbia, and we will be electing Greens from coast to coast to coast in this election. There's now 2 Green MPs. I should mention my deputy leader, Bruce Heyer, representing Thunder Bay Superior North. And I've always said, what I yearn for in Parliament is a large and unruly caucus. Greens with opinions, Greens with principle, Greens who get together and say, my riding wants to make sure, and we are going to work so hard to deliver for Canadians what Canadians deserve. Our first documentation of existence way back when it was first the British North America Act talked about, it sounds kind of stodgy, but I love it, peace, order, and good government. I promise you that Greens will work to deliver the finest parliamentarians that you have ever seen, who read every bill, study what we're voting on, make decisions based on evidence, liberate our scientists, take the gags off, fund our scientists, and revive healthy democracy in which Canadians decide, I can't wait to vote. Because I know when I vote, I'm going to get the Canada I love. I'm going to get my country back. I'm going to take my country back, and I'm going to defend it. So all 3 party candidates here today to come up on stage with me. Because together we are stronger. I'm so honored to work with these people. My sister Fran and Francis and Paul and Ken and Glenn and Brenda. You notice there seems to be a lot of female type energy. We will change Parliament. We will change the climate in Parliament. We are going to make it a greener, more respectful, hard-working place that works for you together. Ready? We are going to be, should we say it together? A Canada that works!